Alright, so this is going to be the second video of the Blender Hangar series. Okay, so we have our hangar here, we have our shadows baked. We can actually go ahead and, I'm just going to go ahead and delete that plane. Or go outside object mode. I'm going to delete that plane because you don't need it and it kind of annoys me. Okay, so we're in edit mode, we have all the faces selected, and this time we want to go ahead and go into in the UV image editor here, hit the UV menu, say export UV layout, and we'll export this. Probably just I save my files as PNG images. I'll save this in my Spokane texture. Or yeah, just save it here. Okay, so that exported the layout, and then we also want to go to image and say save as image and save our ambient occlusion. So I'm just going to call this, put underscore and then say AO for ambient occlusion. Okay, save as, probably didn't save that where I wanted to. Let me resave that real quick. There we go. Okay, so we're good to go that way. So I'll go right into GIMP here. I have a new 2048 by 2048 in size texture. I'm going to go ahead and open as layers are those two images we just exported. If I can figure out where my folder is here. Let's see here. H, that's right. So we're going to open the ambient occlusion. There it is, showing up nicely. And we'll open the layout. Whoops, I wanted to actually open that as a layer, so open as layers. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set the transparency on the hanger, on the ambient occlusion, just down to 0 for now, because I don't want to see it. And this is going to be a fairly basic texture, and again, let's see, so I don't have time, you know, don't want to make this video so long that it gets boring, but let's see here, but I'm going to definitely add metal to some of these faces, and maybe give you a couple ideas how you can kind of detail that metal a little bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up a couple more things here. I downloaded a couple metal textures from CG Textures. Let's see here, they look like, I like this one quite a bit, and that one, I think I used that one too. I mean, really you could use any of these, so we might try this texture, see how that looks. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just drag these to my layers over here. Let's see here, I'll drag this one as well. And I'll drag that one. Okay, I like to, first thing is to add alpha channel to all these metal layers here. So I'm going to do that real quick. Now, so again, this isn't really a photoreal texture, it's going to be more of a generic texture. And also, you add photos of a hangar, then that'd be great if you're trying to model it. Alright, so let's see. I think I'll use this texture. Well, no. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to just hide this one, this texture for now, and I'll use this for the sides of the hangar, and I'll use this texture for the roof. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to first of all hit filters, map, and say make small tiles, and we want to just kind of tile this texture a little bit. This tile should be a seamless tileable texture. Whoops, and I also have to make sure I have this all selected. So I'm going to say select all, and then filters, map, small tiles. Okay, that's pretty close. What I'm looking at here is how wide I want these corrugations to be. I might do it one more time. So I'm going to say filters, map, small tiles. Only this time I'm going to set the number of segments back down to 2. Well, we'll give that a shot. Or maybe just leave it low. I don't know. Let's see here. No, I'm going to go ahead and redo that. Redo. Okay, let's just give this texture a shot. So, I'm going to move this kind of over to the side, and then I'm going to duplicate it. So, Control-Shift-D. Let's do our front piece here. So, I'm going to set this to Hangar. I'm going to set the UV layout at the top of all the layers so I can see it. Okay, now I'm going to take this texture, set it right here, and then I'm going to say Control-Shift-D to, whoops, on the wrong layer here. Say Control-Shift-D to duplicate it. I'm going to zoom way in here. I don't know if I like this texture all that much, guys, when I'm getting down to it because it's a little low res. But we'll give it a shot. If I can, what I'm trying to do right here. Alright, I'm trying to find that scene. There it is. Okay. What we need to do is line these images up. So, whoops. Need to make sure you have that layer, or whichever layer it is, active, and trying to figure out what's going on here. Ah, we're way over here. Okay. It's kind of weird because Blender uses Control and Shift to pan up and down, but it's opposite in GIMP. So it's kind of weird. Alright, so I'm just make sure it's lined up with the other image. Then I'm going to merge these two down. I might just go ahead and say Edit Layer Attributes and rename this Front. Okay. And then, to kind of crop this image, we're going to go to the UV layout. I'm going to select these areas here with the fuzzy tool. Okay. And then you see that it's not quite at the edge because of a little bit of color variation there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to select, I'm going to say grow, and just grow this by maybe 3 pixels, see if that's enough. That might be a little too much. I'm going to try and grow it by maybe 2 pixels and see if that's about right. There we go. Okay, and you see it kind of joins all the selections together in one piece. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my front layer here. I'm going to invert that selection. So select and then invert. And then delete that. And then I'm going to select, invert. And I'm going to say layer, crop to selection just so it kind of cleans the layer up there. And that's basically it for that. Let's do a roof here. So I gotta figure out which one of these are the roof pieces. I think it's these. I'm just going to assume at this point. So let's go ahead. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time trying to texture this, but of course I'll probably never use this model. But I'll probably finish it for you guys though and upload it to Dropbox or something. Alright, so I just rotated that layer. I'm going to say filters. We actually better select all first and then small tiles. So filters, map, small tiles. I wait for that to come up. Okay. I'm going to set it to 4. See if that's enough or not. That's probably about right. Want to still be able to see the corrugation in it. Okay, so it looks like you might be able to cover this roof in one texture, or in one layer, but I'm going to move this one over and duplicate it, so we have an extra one. Alright, so I'm going to try and get this where it needs to go. Right there. And then I might as well duplicate it and grab this roof at the same time, or this piece of it. And we need to make sure we get it lined up. So if I can get scrolled down all the way to the bottom here and then, whoops, go zoom out again. And we're on the wrong layer, so let's see here. There we go. Get this lined up. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to merge these two layers down. I'm going to name this roof. And then we're going to do the same thing like we did with the front. We're going to select, go to our UV layout layer, select the two roof pieces, and then I'm going to grow this selection by a couple pixels. Okay, and that kind of brought the two together and just kind of made sure we had everything selected. I'm going to go back to my roof layer. I'm going to say select, invert, then delete what I don't want, select, invert, and then say, and then crop to what I do want, so crop to selection. And there's a roof. We could go ahead and change the color of this a little bit if we wanted. I'm not sure what though. I mean, we could change the color of the front too. I mean, we could make a green. White's not all that bad of a color though, so I'll probably leave it. But if you do want to change the colors, I think the best way, the quickest way, is probably to go have your layer selected here and say colors, to say hue and saturation. Just change the hue to the color you want. So say if you wanted a green, then you could change the lightness to make it a little darker. It looks a little brown. There we go, it's a little nicer. And then if you think it's too bright, bring down the saturation so it dulls it a little bit. And kind of basically that kind of idea, to change the color of your metal if you don't have the right color. But anyhow, I think I'll leave it blue, and I think I'll leave the roof white. I think, tell you what, I'm going to stop the video real quick and just texture a couple more of these faces, so we'll have something to look at in Blender here when we apply the texture. Alright, just give me a second. Okay, so I basically have all the faces blocked in face texture wise. I'm just going to give you a few ideas of what you can do to add a little more detail to your textures if you don't use photoreal ones, or you don't have photoreal textures. One thing you can do is, like on these pieces, if you want them to look a little more worn, you can. We can just go in here, select our area. I'm just going to use the same method as I with the. I'm just going to use the UV layout to select this area again. Okay. One thing you can do is take kind of a rusty color. If you have metal or something, you can kind of do that. Let's see here. Put one more of the. Yeah, so some, don't have to be too precise, because you can come back with, color balance and stuff like that and edit things a little bit. Gonna really shrink the size here. And I want to create a new layer. That's pretty important to do that. So I'll do it right above my front layer here. Alright, so I'm just gonna take it, put a couple spots of this color, kind of at the top here, and then I'm just going to take the smudge tool, and I'm just kind of going to smudge it down. It's pretty simple. This kind of gives a little more sense of just a little rust kind of, you know, kind of dripping down. So yeah, there's kind of something you can do to kind of add a little more detail to your texture. You know, you can go in here like on this door. I really should add some windows to this, but I just painted it white because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But let's see. For the inside little thing inside, I don't know why this is transparent all of a sudden. There we go. Inside here, I just added a plywood, kind of a plywood texture thing. And again, you know, it's just kind of a matter of how much time you want to spend on it. For all the kind of little edges, I just filled in some color, and it looks like I need to grab a couple of our little places here. I'll do that real quick, and we can combine our shadows. So let me just grab this color again. I'll just use a paintbrush and fill it in real quick. Alright, just want to grab that little piece. So I think I got most of it. I might be missing a spot, but I don't think so. Alright, looks pretty good. Now we want to go and add our shadow. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to export this texture as is. I'm going to export just as a PNG. I'm going to open that texture now. Okay, and then I'm going to open, let's see, one thing I forgot to do is set the UV layout layer to 0 opacity, so we don't have that on there because we obviously don't want it. I'm going to re-export it and open it. Right, there we go. Now I'm going to open as a layer our shadows or ambient occlusion. So I'm going to open as a layer, Hangar tutorial AO. There we go. Alright, and this the only thing we need to do here is now we could come in here on this layer and kind of smooth this shading out a little bit. So I could take the smudgy tool, off the sides of our brush a little bit here, and just kind of smooth this a little out a little bit, maybe. It's kind of up to you. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but I just maybe smooth that a little bit so it doesn't look so weird. That's pretty much the only touch-up I've had to do with when there's shadows, but you know, you could do all kinds of things. Lighten, darken things. I kind of made a mistake there and went off the edge of the texture. I'm trying to do this without having to select the piece, but alright, maybe just kind of smudge that a little bit. Alright, looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is just set this layer, or both layers, to up here on the above the layers here. There's mode, and you can set the mode to multiply on both. Alright, and that combines the shadows and the texture. Now, of course, you can lighten either texture. Like if you thought maybe that the shadows made the texture look a little too dark, you might lighten the base texture a little bit. I don't want to use brightness. I kind of want to use hue, saturation, and just set the lightness up. If you wanted to, you could do that. Or you couldn't, or you may not want to. You could just lighten the shadows a little bit, so colors, hue, saturation, just lighten things a little bit. Maybe I'll do that, see how that looks. Okay. I could add a little center line on the roof too, over here, so it makes these split a little bit more. But you know, just a tutorial, so we won't worry about it. Okay, and again, that door is pretty flat looking, so I would normally add some detail to that, but just leave it as is for now. I'm gonna go ahead and overwrite our image with this new one, and I'm gonna come into Blender here, and there's not much to this. I'm just going to select all the faces, and I'm gonna say image, open image in the UV editor here, find our image. Alright, and it should be, we should be able to see what it looks like on our hangar here. And you can see my rust, I didn't get all of it here. It's a little bit that I didn't grab or smudge. I really would like to add some detail to that door, but it looks okay. I actually am going to have to raise this face a little bit, like extrude it or something, because else it's going to flicker on the ground. So if I do that, and just say, not extrude it too much, maybe try 0.05 for now. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. And of course then I need to really go back and unwrap this again, but add this so I can color this seam, but I forgot to extrude that beforehand, and I'm not going to go back right now. But anyhow, that's kind of the basics of getting your hangar together. I really like just the way you can add the shadows, and the way it, you can see the shadow from the overhang there on the roof. It looks really nice. I might go ahead and undo the darkening of those shadows and re-export this, see if I like it a little darker or not. Alright, I'm going to reload this image. Reload image. Alright, that makes it a little darker. I kind of like that. I love how it shades the inside here. It all just really is quite lovely. Alright, I hope this was a useful 2 videos here on how to create a hangar in Blender. Obviously I still have some things going on here that I didn't want. But anyhow, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be doing more videos on Blender in the future. So just stay tuned. Check out my Facebook page, Sass Creations on Facebook. Alright, thanks.